check this out, Ben. This scenario. I have a friend.
Yeah.
She's a girl.
Yeah.
She's kind of in a tough spot. She's got a fiance she's been with for about 2 years.
Okay.
They're engaged.
Yes.
He proposed.
Yes.
He loves to gamble. Get started off with, sports betting.
Right.
A lot of people bet on sports. My
Right.
stepfather is a big sports bettor, but he manages his money pretty good. Just like gambling and the rush of the win is almost like a drug after a while.
Yeah.
It went from, betting on his favorite teams to now he is betting almost on anything he can.
Wow.
It's almost like, I'll bet you $50 you can't drink this whole
He just
gallon
loves
of
betting on
milk.
stuff.
Correct. Now, my question to her, I'm like, well, what's the problem? Is he losing money? And she's like, well, last year he was down. Not a ton. He's maybe down like 10 grand for the year, which is significant, $10,000. The year before, I think he did okay. I think he might have made 15 grand.
Right.
But the betting wasn't as often. And she has raised concerns to him that, it's almost too much. She's planning on a future.
Right.
Before it was monitoring these games that we're playing, whether it be in football or baseball.
Right.
But now he's got his pulse on every game, playing on every platform, that's in season.
Yeah.
If it's football, if there's overlap with basketball, he's betting on games.
Yeah.
And the amount he's betting has also started to increase. You're not going to get that rush off of winning $100.
No.
Now you need to win more to feel that same feeling.
That's right.
When you first,
Or
had
you
to
get
win.
some confidence because you've been winning $100.
Right.
$100. Like, hey, I'm going to throw a stat.
And I said, well, you got to talk to him. You got to, if you're going to, marry this person,
Right.
Communication is key. You have to express your concerns without accusing him. You need to, more out of concern and less about, you this and you that and, you're doing this. You need to approach it like, okay, this is how it's kind of making me feel and it's worrying me.
That's right.
A little bit instead of coming at him like you, because no one's good. That's where someone goes on the defensive.
That's true.
So she took my advice and I felt like I was giving sound advice.
Yes.
And his response was, no, baby, I've got this under control. Last year, it was a little bit of a down year, but nothing compared to what I've done in the years prior.
Right.
With some of those years being not verifiable because she wasn't with him.
Right.
And it wasn't as often. But now she's noticed there's been some siphoning, some money that's been disappearing. Their accounts aren't quite merged yet. She knows what he makes from his job. He's had to borrow some money from her.
Yes.
And when she questions, like, where did the money go? Oh, I had expenses, this. I think there's a form of deceit and lying that is now coming into play about his habit, his extracurricular activities.
Yeah, it's gambling,
so,
for sure.
At this point, when she came back to me with his response and some of the things she's noticed, I was like, well, here's the deal. A gambler, just like a drug addict, like a full-blown drug addict,
Yep.
chances are going to spend their money all the same. If you're addicted to cocaine or heroin, and my stepfather actually gave me this piece of information, he said drug addicts spend exactly the same. All they have, everything they got.
Right.
And a gambler is going to gamble everything he's got.
That's interesting.
Could he hit it big and make some money? He's going to gamble it away again. And then chances are he's going to give it back to the house, whatever that house might be.
Right.
I'm like, you need to tread carefully because you're about to merge your finances and you're about to give him access to your savings. You got a wedding coming up in less than 3 months. What do? Do you roll the dice? It's a gamble.
That's a tough one because, even the way that we gamble our time and the way that we do everything, it's all a big fucking gamble. In her terms, she's got to have a real conversation with the dude and be like, look, I know you're gambling. She's going to have to accept The worst thing she can pretend is that it's not happening.
Well, it's just going to rear its head up
You know
later.
what I'm saying? It'll always be there. That'll always be a part of their life, most likely. That's always going to be there.
Think about that scenario. You get married, you go through with it. Your bank accounts are now his bank accounts.
Right. And you get wiped out.
And you get wiped out.
Over a hockey game that he was sure they were going to win, but
or a card game.
Or a card game or something. And it's, yeah, exactly.
And I mean, and then everything you've worked for, your credit, it's like a drug addict. If he can't see that there's a problem, he's not going to get the help.
No.
Now, is it a problem? I mean, I'm not in the relationship, but apparently it's a big enough problem for her to seek Kaylee's advice.
That's right.
You know, and I'm like, if it was me, I had to give her brutal honesty. I'd cancel the wedding. I just don't know that I would gamble. All my savings and everything I have,
so,
the evidence is there. There's evidence there for you to make an educated decision.
Here's how I see it. Are you prepared to support him in his gambling? Do you believe in his gambling ability as much as he does? Are you on his side with regard to the bets he's making and the gambling that he's doing? Because at the end of the day, someone who's really good at betting and gambling can make a gazillion fucking dollars. There's a lot of them out there. They can also lose fucking everything. You'd be flat on your face. Is that what you're looking for in this relationship? Or is this like a little secret part of the relationship? Because my whole thing is like, hey, go all in. If you're going to be a fucking sports bettor, let's fucking figure this out. You think you're good? You think you're a good sports bettor? This is what you want to do? You want to sneak around and do this shit? No, motherfucker, let's do it for real. You know what I'm saying? Here's the deal. We're going to take and fucking put together some savings. 10 grand. You fucking turn this 10 grand into something, we'll just keep it fucking rolling. You lose it, you're out. Something like that. But if it's like a situation where he's hiding it from her and she doesn't like it and she's not signing up for that bullshit and this, that, and the other thing, then yeah, dude, let it go.
Well, and here's the thing
change.
also. If it's like, okay, fine, you're doing sports betting, like let's say football, you got
Let's
a
go
niche.
to Vegas.
Well, right, but you got a niche.
Yeah.
You got a bookie. He's got a bookie.
Right.
Right. But then when you're betting on basketball and then you're playing poker online and then meeting your boys for poker.
Right.
So now you're gambling. So now it's not just one thing you're gambling on, maybe something central and niched.
Yeah.
Now you're spreading your money out and you're taking chances in multiple areas. And when you do that, the house always wins.
Yeah. Most of the time.
When it's that consistent.
Yeah.
It always wins.
Yeah.
For the most part.
The house is there to be the house.
The house takes the money.
Which means, yeah, it takes all the money.
Right. And
you
sometimes,
get a little bit.
Sometimes.
Sometimes you get a little bit.
But if you don't manage the money from there,
right,
practice good money management, which means not gambling every day, because the more you gamble, the more you're going to lose. I told her, I said, he's just gambling you.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah.
He's hedging his bets on whether you're going to stay. I say, no. Pull back and save yourself the pain.
Yeah,
you might
man.
pull away. You don't have to say we're done, but you can say, listen, I just don't think it's a good time right now. Let's postpone it. Give it a year.
Here's 10 grand. Turn it to 100. We'll put the wedding back on. You lose it, we're done.
Right.
Take this 10 grand and turn it into 10 mil or we're done, mofo.
I could see the writing on the wall. You always see it better when you're not in it.
Yeah.
I would like to think if it was me, I have all the evidence to make an educated decision that this probably isn't the bet that I would make.
Well, you want to talk about bets. So you know about doubles. So $1,000, dude, I think, check this out. $1,000 is 8 doubles away from $1 million.
Oh yeah. I love the way compounding numbers work like that.
So that's the whole thing. If I can just take this $1,000 and turn it to 2,000, well, now I got 2,000. I can turn the 2,000 into 4,000. Well, now I can turn the 4,000 into 8,000, the 8,000 to 16, the 16 to 32, the 32 to 64. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. So if you want to weigh in on this topic, let us know what your thoughts are. Would you go through with the wedding? Would you cancel it? And you could, maybe gambling isn't it. It could be drugs. You could, basically take that scenario and replace it because it's almost the same thing.
You know what the craziest form of gambling is? Well, there's a lot of them. But the roulette table in Vegas, just put it on black.
No, Russian roulette.
Put it on red.
Russian roulette is,
what I'm saying?
Is the craziest
Well, that's
form.
the craziest one. But I'm saying something you can do and not die probably.
Yeah.
Is the roulette table, dude. It's unreal.
Oh, yeah, it's fun.
Just put it on black.
Yeah.
You know?
Bet on black, bitch.
Just there. I mean, that's basically a little less than 50% because you have the zeros.
Right.
But it's about a 50% bet. And it pays 2 to 1.
2 to 1, baby.
You know? Thank you guys for listening to the ManFUzed Podcast. Shout out to all you guys out there. We really appreciate it. We're now on WhatsApp. If you want to reach out and text us, join the show. You can text or leave a message, 770-744-5227.
And check out our ManFUzed Gear at ManFUzed.com.
I've been working hard on it, guys. Come check it out. Slaving away.
Slaving it.
Get a hat. I'm not saying to buy a hat. I'm not saying buy a shirt. I'm just saying take a look. If you think it looks good, maybe think about buying it.